So it looks like Calamuendo may already be set to leave Forest. Welcome to your Forest transfer news in November. Just before we carry on with the video, a lot of you guys asked me about my setup and I'm going to show it to you very quickly now. And there are some key things from FlexiSpot that make it up. The C7 ergonomic chair holds a major part of my setup from FlexiSpot. This chair needs to be comfortable and needs to give me lumbar support, and that's exactly what it does. On top of that, there's a footrest that you can kick out and lie back when you need to, and it has those 3D arms that are easily adjustable as well. Mix that with that back support you need for the long hours, and when I use the E7 Pro standing desk, that allows me to bring you guys the watch along from a standing position or a sitting one. When I want to get some exercise, I pull out the underdesk treadmill from FlexiSpot, and this allows me to work and exercise at the same time. So check out the Black Month mega sale where there's up to 50% off now on flexispot.co.uk. I'll leave you guys the link in the description. FlexiSpot do really have everything you need for that perfect office setup, and on top of that, they have made my office a healthy working environment. No more backache and exercise while I'm working. It is absolutely perfect. Make sure you check them out now. Shout out to FlexiSpot there. You can grab this chair that I'm sitting on right here with another £90 off if you go and click on the link that's in the description, as well as up to 50% cash back on loads of sales. So go check out the deals now. Honestly, I love this setup right now. But let's get into the news because we've got a lot to talk about with Calamuendo. This is a guy who I was extremely excited that Forest had signed. I could see goals in this guy. I think he got 17 in 34 games in the French league, and he can score goals. But with 217 minutes only under his belt this season, there are huge reports to suggest that Forest are ready to part ways with him already, and he could be making a move to the Bundesliga. Now, I want your thoughts on it as always, so get that in the comments. But let me run you through the source. And the source is a decent one. It's coming from Pletty Florian Plettenberg, over on his social medias. He's saying, exclusive, Stuttgart are still looking for a striker in the winter and have now added Calamuendo to their shortlist. There is contact between Stuttgart and his agents. Here's the important bit. Forest are open to discussions for interesting offers, but still believe in him. Contract until 2030 with Forest. So look, and the other point he adds, which is that Fulkrug is not an option. The West Ham striker as well. So look, there's a few bits and bobs we need to pick out from there. Now, I think there has been little rumours about Calamuendo going potentially sooner rather than later. But then again, there's been some rumours about Backcourt as well in January. How true or not this is, I wasn't really willing to believe it until someone like Pletty is talking about it. But he has been wrong on a few things this summer. Now, I think this would be a case of Forest would be willing to let him go, maybe on loan. Because they've said in that quote that he's put, well, it's not a quote from Forest, but from his quote, that Forest do still believe in him. As do I, is the honest point. Now, if we were sitting here in the summer, we just signed Jesus, we've signed Calamuendo, you got Chris Wood, who bagged 20 goals last season, and then you got Taiwo, who was looking bang out of form. Suddenly, you're thinking, okay, he can't be surplus to requirements because Wood is getting on in age. Igor Jesus is new to the club. There's no guarantee that he was going to do well. And then you got Calamuendo, who's coming from a European league, kind of, you'd say, more competitive than the Brazilian league, who has produced goals there, that he wouldn't be that far down the pecking order. And Taiwo looked like maybe he was on his way out. Now what's happened, it feels like we've seen two managers very interested in Taiwo. We saw Ange using Taiwo a lot, and we've seen Sean Dyche lean on him a couple of times as well, which has kind of made me feel like the pecking order right now is kind of Chris Wood and Jesus, then Taiwo, then Calamuendo. So I don't think Calamuendo is going to get many minutes. That's the issue here. And when it comes to January, when the transfer window opens. The other thing you could see is a swap in the Europa League. Sorry, not when the transfer window opens. When the Europa League re-registration opens, is you could see a swap between the name of Calamuendo and Taiwo Awani. So that's something that Forest may consider as well. Now, will it be a sale? I don't think so. I think it might be a loan. If Forest were going to do it, a loan makes more sense because then he can still get football. He can, continue to work on his sharpness, his kind of in-game play and everything else, and then come back in the summer, get a full pre-season under his belt, so on and so forth, because he was a signing that was kind of more towards the latter end of the transfer window than the beginning. What would I do, though? I wouldn't do it personally. I just think it's too soon. 217 minutes on a football pitch is nothing. Add those together, you're just over 2 full match games. And he was playing in matches where, well, let's just say, they weren't exactly Forest highlight matches, were they? I think he started against Swansea for one of them, and then obviously Sturm Graz the other day. That's made up a lot of his minutes, and even then he came off on that one. So the rest of the minutes have been made up with appearances here and there. But you do have to question, is it, there's not much time given in football these days, be it from fans, be it from managers, be it from whoever. You need instant results. And it's hard to say that Calamuendo has produced these instant results. A lot of you have said, oh, he looks too small for the Premier League, or he's not physical enough. He hasn't really shown many signs. I would say just give him time. I still think, as Forest have kind of hinted in that statement from Pletty-Goal, that there still is a player within him. But Forest would need, let's just play out the scenario if it was a sale. Because Forest paid 30 million euros for him in the summer over a 5-year deal. So he's contracted to 2030. So that's about 6 million euros per year. Forest would basically have to sell him for near enough the same money just to break even. So if you took PSR, and I'm talking from a PSR perspective here, so let's just say it's had half a year, so you can knock off roughly 3 million. So Forest would need to sell for 27 million euros just to break even. And let's not forget there's a payment plan that's going on to Runs right now in how we're paying them back, etc. for it. So it's not cash viable either. So the only thing that makes sense to me on this one would be a 6-month loan where they sent him off to Stuttgart, and Stuttgart striker is out for 8 weeks potentially, if not more, and that's why they're looking for replacements currently. So I'm not for it, but I would understand it, is what I'm saying. I'll be honest with you right now, unless Chris Wood comes back and starts bagging the goals like he did last season, I still feel we have a lacking in a gunman up front who's going to guarantee us 10, 15, 20 goals this season. Jesus hasn't scored in the Premier League. Taiwo hasn't scored in the Premier League. Calamuendo hasn't scored in the Premier League. And Chris Wood has bagged a couple, but he's been out injured and he's apparently due to come back after the international break. And I still feel there's just that pure goal-scoring person is missing, because I'm starting to feel like Igor Jesus is more a 10 than he is an out-and-out 9. A very good 10 at that. He works hard, but he comes too deep to pick up the ball. Yet he is scoring in the Europa League, so maybe that form can transpire as he settles in as well. So this is the whole new patient Wolfie, man. Let's get these players some time. Let's see how they develop. As long as we ease our situation away from the bottom of the league, I think then we have time to kind of properly plan and see what to do with the players. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would you keep, sell, or loan Calamuendo? Get your thoughts in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed as well if you're new. Go check out the deals at FlexiSpot, and we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.